All right, back again. And this time we're going to take a deep dive into the Detroit Lions season. They had, a really fascinating run, breaking records, exceeding expectations, but ultimately, fell short of that Super Bowl goal. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying these deep dives. So let's unpack what happened, what it means for their future.
It really is remarkable how you have this entire regular season, and then it really all comes down to a single game. The Lions, I think, are a perfect illustration of that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they were riding high, breaking franchise records.
Yeah.
And then, bam, a loss to Washington in the divisional round. You really have to wonder, what does that kind of ending do to a team's psyche, especially a group that was exceeding expectations like that?
Yeah, there's no doubt the disappointment was huge. I mean, we saw it in the post-game reactions, but even more telling, I think, were the actions of players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, texting Coach Campbell at 4 a.m. after the loss. I mean, that speaks volumes about how invested these guys were.
Yeah, that's a level of dedication you don't see every day. It really suggests they believe this was their year.
Man.
So how does a coach even navigate that kind of heartbreak? I mean, Dan Campbell's comments after the season were interesting, talking about using this loss as fuel for the fire. Is that, just coach speak, or is there something deeper there?
Well, I think there's real belief behind Campbell's words. This is a coach who's been all about building a winning culture, a foundation for sustained success. So he sees this loss not as like a setback, but as a crucial learning experience.
So he's really framing this as part of the process, like a stepping stone, not a stumbling block.
Exactly. He's focusing on the positives, the core they've built, the growth they've shown, and using those as fuel for their future goals. Recognizing the pain, but channeling it towards something bigger.
Now, that's a powerful message for the players, especially considering they're likely losing both their offensive and defensive coordinators to head coaching jobs. I mean, the kind of turnover at the top has to be a concern, right? How do you maintain that momentum when you lose key pieces of your coaching staff?
It's a big challenge, definitely. But Campbell seems to see it almost as a testament to the talent they developed. He's confident they can find the right replacements, maintain that system that's worked so well for them.
But isn't there a risk of disrupting the rhythm they've built, especially for a quarterback like Jared Goff? He really thrived within this specific system.
That's a good point. Continuity is crucial, especially on offense. Campbell has said that. Emphasizing keeping the terminology consistent for Goff, I think they're aware of the potential issues and committed to addressing them.
So they're basically tailoring their coaching search to fit Goff's needs, ensuring a smooth transition.
Yeah, I like that.
It's like they're building a custom suit for their quarterback.
Exactly. It really shows how much emphasis they're putting on maximizing Goff's potential. They've seen what he can do in this system, and they're not about to just throw that away. And it's not just the coaching staff that believes in this team's potential.
You're talking about Jameer Gibbs' comments. He actually went on record saying this year's team was even more talented than last year's squad.
Yeah.
And, they reached the NFC Championship. That's a pretty bold statement. Especially considering they fell short this year. What do you make of that? Is that just youthful optimism, or is there more to it?
I think it speaks to the level of belief within the locker room. Gibbs, he's young, but he's seen the potential firsthand. He's experienced the growth, the camaraderie, the hunger within this team. His statement's not just about raw talent, it's about a collective mindset.
It's like they're saying, we were this close and we know we can be even better.
Exactly. That's the energy they're building. The hunger is real. The question is, can they translate that belief into results? Can they use this disappointment, make the necessary adjustments, and take that next step?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? They've tasted success, but can they sustain it? Can they build on this and actually become a perennial contender?
That's what we're going to explore. We'll look at the specifics, analyze their strengths, identify their weaknesses, and really assess whether they have what it takes to capitalize on this open window. It's an exciting time to be a Lions fan, that's for sure. But the NFL landscape changes quickly. No room for complacency.
Absolutely not. So let's break down those specifics. When you look at their season as a whole, what were the key factors that fuel their success? And where did they need to improve to reach that Super Bowl level?
Offensively, they were a force to be reckoned with at times. Jared Goff looked rejuvenated in this system, playing with a confidence we haven't seen from him in years.
It was like watching a different quarterback altogether.
Yeah.
What do you think was the key to his resurgence?
I think the offensive scheme was really perfect for him. Emphasize quick reads, decisive throws, getting the ball out fast. They protected him well, gave him time, and he responded brilliantly.
And let's not forget the weapons he had. Amon-Ra St. Brown, he continues to be a star. And the emergence of Jameer Gibbs, that added a whole new dimension to their attack. You mentioned earlier that Gibbs felt this year's team was even more talented than last year's. What evidence do you see to support that?
Well, Gibbs's explosiveness, that was something defenses struggled with. It added this element of unpredictability. But it was more than just individual talent. There was a synergy, a belief within that offense that was obvious. They played with a swagger, a confidence that was just infectious.
It's interesting you say belief, because it seems to go beyond just the offense. Dan Campbell has really instilled this grit, this never-give-up attitude. It permeates the whole team.
Absolutely. That's the Dan Campbell effect. He's built a culture of resilience, of fighting for every inch. They don't back down from challenges, and that's a testament to his leadership.
But let's be real, the defense was a bit of a mixed bag. There were games where they looked dominant, shutting down opponents completely, and then there were others where they just couldn't get the stops.
Yeah, consistency was the issue. They need to generate a more consistent pass rush and improve that run defense. Those are areas they have to address in the offseason if they want to take that next step.
And that task gets even harder with the loss of both coordinators. Finding replacements who can maintain that aggressive style but also shore up those weaknesses. That's crucial.
It's a balancing act for sure. They need coaches who align with Campbell's vision, but also bring new ideas, a knack for developing talent.
So if they can make the right coaching hires, address those defensive needs, and build on that offensive firepower, what's their ceiling? Realistically, can they contend for a Super Bowl in the next couple of years?
I wouldn't rule it out. They have the core talent, a young and hungry roster, and a coach who's built a winning mentality. If they can maintain this upward trajectory, make the right adjustments, stay healthy, yeah, they could be a legitimate Super Bowl contender within the next 2 to 3 seasons.
That's a bold statement. But I have to admit, it's hard not to get caught up in the excitement. This team has that it factor.
They do. They've captured the city's imagination, and they're playing with a swagger that wasn't there before. They've tasted success, and now they want more. But as we know, the NFL is a tough league. Talent alone isn't enough.
It takes execution, discipline, a constant pursuit of improvement. You can't rest on your laurels, especially in a league where everyone's always trying to get better.
That's the key. The Lions have laid a solid foundation, but the work isn't over. They got to keep pushing, keep evolving, keep that hunger alive. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you start falling behind.
Yeah. And that brings to mind another crucial element that often gets overlooked, the role of the fans. Detroit's known for its passionate sports fans, and they really rally behind this team.
The 12th man. Yeah, that can be a powerful force. Sold out crowds, the roar of the stadium. That energy can be contagious.
You could feel that energy translating onto the field, fueling the team's performance. And it's something the Lions need to nurture. Keep that connection strong. Keep the city believing. Who knows what's possible?
It really is a testament to the power of collective belief. When a city unites behind its team like that, it creates a force that's hard to stop.
I mean, we've covered a lot here. The highs and lows of the season, the strengths and weaknesses of the team, the challenges and opportunities ahead. We've looked at the tactical aspects, the cultural shifts, the importance of the fans. It's been a pretty comprehensive analysis.
It really has been. But now let's look ahead. What are the biggest decisions the Lions are facing this offseason as they try to, solidify their status as a contender?
Well, the coaching changes are definitely top of mind. Replacing both coordinators, it's not going to be easy. But it also says a lot about the success they had as a unit. It's almost like a bittersweet reward, for building something great.
Oh, absolutely. You nurture talent and then the league comes calling. But as we said, Campbell's emphasized continuity, especially on offense. To keep Goff in a system he's comfortable with, finding coaches who are on the same page philosophically, that's going to be huge. They need to be ready to go right away.
Right. So beyond the coaching carousel, are there any specific roster moves that stand out? What areas need immediate attention?
Well, they've got to address those defensive gaps we talked about. The pass rush needs more teeth, more consistency. And the secondary could use some reinforcements. Free agency and the draft are going to be key for filling those holes.
You're right. The defense did feel like a gamble sometimes. Brilliant 1 minute, vulnerable the next. That inconsistency, that could really hurt them against the top teams.
Exactly. If they want to compete with the best, they need a defense that can shut down the run, disrupt the passing game consistently, no more lapses, no more letting those crucial drives slip away.
So let's play a little what if here. Let's say they nail the coaching hires, bolster the defense, and that offensive firepower keeps rolling. What's their realistic ceiling over the next few years? Could we actually see them in a Super Bowl?
With the talent they have, the right additions, continued growth from those young players. I don't think a Super Bowl appearance in the next 2 or 3 seasons is out of the question. They've got the pieces. But we know potential only takes you so far in this league.
It does. They need to translate that potential into results, into a winning formula that can handle the pressure of the playoffs. And they have to do it in a conference that's stacked with talent.
No doubt about it, the NFC is a beast. But the Lions, they've got something special going on. They've tapped into this belief, this swagger, this winning culture. You can't ignore that.
It's a good reminder that sometimes the intangibles, the culture, the belief, those can be just as important as any roster move. They've got the city buzzing, and that energy, it can be a powerful force.
Oh, absolutely. The Lions have have lit a fire in Detroit. Now it's about keeping that fire burning, building on this momentum, and proving that this isn't just a flash in the pan. The NFL is unpredictable. But one thing's for sure, the Detroit Lions are a team on the rise. They have, and it's really exciting to see.
But now let's shift gears a bit and look ahead. What are the most critical decisions facing the Lions this offseason as they, try to cement themselves as a true contender?
Well, got to start with the coaching changes. Replacing both coordinators, that's a tall order. But it also speaks to the success they had. It's like a reward for building something special, even if it comes with some tough choices.
Yeah, exactly. You develop talent, and then other teams come calling. But as we talked about, Campbell's been clear about the need for continuity, especially on offense, keeping Goff comfortable. It all comes down to finding coaches who share his philosophy.
Yeah.
They need to hit the ground running. No time for learning curve. Right, absolutely. So looking beyond the coaching staff, are there any roster moves that jump out as must-dos? What areas need that immediate attention?
Well, they have to address those defensive weaknesses we discussed. The pass rush, it needs more bite, more consistency. And the secondary could use some help. Free agency and the draft, those are going to be crucial for shoring things up.
Yeah, you're right. The defense, it felt a little unpredictable at times.
Exactly. If they want to go toe-to-toe with the best, they need a defense they can rely on. Shut down the run, disrupt the passing game week in and week out. No more lapses, no more letting those big plays happen.
All right, so let's do a little crystal ball gazing here. Let's say they make the right coaching hires, they bolster that defense, and that offensive firepower keeps humming. What's the ceiling for this team in the next few years? Could we actually see them making a Super Bowl run?
Well, with the talent they have, the right additions, and continued development from their young core, a Super Bowl appearance in the next 2, maybe 3 seasons, it's not impossible. They have the pieces. But, as we've said, potential only gets you so far in this league.
It does. They need to turn that potential into results, into a formula that can withstand the pressure of the playoffs. And let's not forget, they're in a conference loaded with talent.
Oh, yeah. The NFC is a gauntlet. But the Lions have something special brewing here. There's this belief, this swagger, this culture of winning. You can't just manufacture that.
And you can't underestimate the impact of the fans. They've really embraced this team.
Absolutely. The Lions have re-energized the city of Detroit, and now it's about building on that, proving that this is just the beginning.
Right. It's a reminder that sometimes the intangibles, the culture, the belief, those can be just as powerful as any player acquisition or coaching change.
No question about it.
Well, this has been a fascinating look at the Detroit Lions, their journey, their potential. Really appreciate the insights.
My pleasure.
And for all of you watching, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.